tells me. All right. Hi. Welcome to PGS ALL-STARS. I am your host, RM, and it's great to see you here. We have two very esteemed guests continuing our Masters of the Universe, what we love about Masters of the Universe again. TheRichard is here with us today. TheRichard.
Aloha, everyone.
Yes. And Tony Bunyon Snipe is here with us today as well. Yes, our PGS in-house experts of Masters of the Universe. So today is going to be a very interesting day.
That's BANANAS!
Yes, it is. I invited both gentlemen on today, and thank you so much for coming on. And obviously, there's been a lot of chatter about Skeletor recently, and I am dying to hear both of your comments about this. I want to talk about Skeletor and his depictions through Masters of the Universe through the years, and the type of character he is, and what's on your mind, Tony or Richard? One of you, please tell me what's on your mind with Skeletor right now.
I'll just point out that this is one of my paintings back here of Skeletor, and then I'll let Tony talk.
Yes.
So I've said this before. My favorite interpretation of Master of the Universe is like the first half dozen mini comics that you got with the original action figures. The only thing I didn't like about those first mini comics was the origin for Skeletor, where he came from a dimension of Skeletors, and he was just one of a billion of these things. And have they made that canon now?
That's the canon via the new comic prequel. Is that what you're saying, Tony?
Yeah. Now this could be this could be part of a trick that Skeletor's playing to hide the fact that he might be Prince Adam's uncle. But yeah, so obviously now the whole Keldor backstory for Skeletor goes back to the original toy line. It never really went anywhere. There were ideas for it. There was a mini comic with them saying about Keldor. They spoke about him, but I don't think you ever saw him. Now, in the Mike Young series, they took that idea and really ran with it, and they stated, Keldor was Randor's older brother, who was perhaps illegitimate. He was half Gar, and so that's why he has the blue skin, and the three toes. Although canons all over the place in the Mike Young series, he didn't have three toes. He just. But but obviously, because Kevin Smith has fealty to he has more fealty to the Filmation series in a way. He although he doesn't. Obviously that they've taken some ideas from the Mike Young series and the Four Horsemen action figures and the Master of the Universe Classics line. But obviously now, is this a fake backstory that Skeletor has kind of created to give himself a little bit more mystique, and to get away, because maybe if his followers knew that he was the uncle of He-Man, maybe they might not be happy about that. But obviously, if he's if he comes from another dimension, it gives him a bit more mystique. So maybe maybe some outlets are jumping the gun on this. Maybe it is, a kind of, an unreliable narrator scenario? But who knows?
TheRichard.
Yeah, I'm pondering everything. I have to agree with Tony. It seems like a smokescreen. This is kind of an odd time. I know that we're sweeping up the dust bins, cleaning, taking out the trash, cleaning our memories, making everything look, happy-go-lucky throughout the history. I mean, that's how propaganda works. And we know that Skeletor is an evil individual. I don't want to have sympathy for him, except for on the holiday. That's the only time I want to have sympathy for him. All other times, he is an evil bastard, and I don't want to see the drama.
No,
I mean, okay, this is just me speculating, but yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
I like the fact that he could possibly have good in him. But yeah, now carry on. But yeah, you are right.
No, Scotia, a little bit. Yeah, everybody's got the opportunity of good. And there's always the opportunity of redemption. The thing is, though, if we're moving forward with a major villain, one of the greatest, most well-known villains of all time, we can't start off sympathetic with him. It's too late for that. We had our opportunity to be sympathetic. Now we need to see him be a bad motherfucker. That's what we need. We need some badass, evil Skeletor stuff, and occasionally see the pop-up. This is my opinion anyway. See the pop-up of positivity here and there. See, I would like a 6-year contract or 10, 20-year contract. I don't know. I want to see a full arc. I want to see him go down.
I've got a feeling again, because don't forget we've only got 2 more years. Mattel, so we can't have that big of a thing, because Universal get the rights in 2 years, less than 2 years. So all of this stuff is going to go away, and so again, Mattel there are currently 6 major toy lines that revolve around Master of the Universe. It's like no one has that much cash, right? Especially kids. So I mean, they're flooding the market with Master of the Universe stuff. It's clear that they want to devalue. I mean, it's clear they want to devalue it, right?
Either they want to devalue it, or unintentionally or intentionally, that is what is happening. It is going to devalue, no matter what. I could see the ultimate Optimus. I could see light beyond this. You're absolutely right, though. We're flooding it. They're flooding it. I mean, flooding everything.
The market.
Yep.
Is an origin story what we need to focus on right now, you think, at this point in Masters of the Universe? Was it needed? Do you think it's anything other than to bring in different characters or that type of approach, like what you were saying, TheRichard?
You mean the comic or Revelations?
Comic, yes, the comic that we're talking about in the CBR article.
It sucks. I haven't technically read them, so I don't know exactly what context they're in. Now, I do have a lot of the others. We've talked about those in past episodes. We don't always need an origin story. It's like we've seen Kal-El a billion times. We don't need to know that he crashed to Earth. All right. Now, Skeletor's a tad bit different than Superman. We've seen 3. How many different versions now, Tony? Like 3 origins, 4 origins of him over the years?
It's 3 or 4. That's right. Tony, what do you think?
Well, this whole idea, I mean, okay, so Hordak is still involved. So Hordak is still involved. He gives him the opportunity, so he contacts Hordak, and somehow it would suggest that Hordak is probably going to be the big bad. If they do a second season Hordak will probably be the big bad of season 2. I've got a feeling what's going to happen is that Skeletor is basically going to be defeated at the end of episode 10, and he's gonna be on death's door in the same way that he was kind of in the Mike Young series as Keldor, and he calls on Hordak, who basically Skeletor owes. Basically, he's given him his soul, right? He sold his soul to Hordak, right? And from what I read, so basically, on his other planet, he has a wife and child. They get killed by these the Minotaur slavers or whatever they are.
Is that how you call it? Minotaur.
Well, that's how the story presents itself.
Yeah,
I read the story. I'm just loving his accent.
Oh, yes.
They're like Minotaurs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Minotaurs, even though there's a U in it. There's a U in it. Anyway, Minotaur guides. Yeah. But yeah, so and he becomes like a Robin Hood type figure, which is in itself a bit weird. But then I'm guessing Hordak calls in his chip and says, "Look, I want you to go to this planet. There's this planet called Eternia, which is the center of the universe. I need you to go there, because I can't go there because I had a falling out with them in the past.
My ex lives there. I don't feel comfortable.
I
got to return some videotapes.
I need you to go there, and I need you to, to sort them out,
right,
in my name. But obviously, he hasn't been throwing Hordak's name around that much, has he? So maybe Hordak's not that pleased. So I can see him coming in if season 2 happens and wrecking the joint,
Hordak, I get giddy every time we mention his name. He wasn't the best portrayed on screen, though. His color scheme and overall his henchmen and everything are my favorite. I prefer Hordak over Skeletor ultimately. I love the story arc. I think She-Ra had the best villains of both shows. So it would be amazing if we do get some Hordak interaction. And I was just watching a video of and it showed the Horde bots or whatever they're called. I forgot to look them up, but Hordak's flying drones. They were in the very first episode with Skeletor.
Right.
They were with Skeletor. So Tony's theory has weight. Skeletor literally could have been. You're gonna go to Eternia and you're gonna destroy, take over, whatever. However Hordak's voice is, I know he snorts. So I can imagine Skeletor being in debt, having been indebted, having to do what Hordak says, not following through, not sticking to the principle. Now that would allow for the article that we're talking about to have a little bit of gravitas if he did have a family. I don't want to think about a gosh darn planet full of skull face creatures, though. I liked him being an individual.
Yeah.
I mean, Trapjaw is a Gar. Okay, he doesn't have a skull face.
Right.
We'll talk about him in a bit, but
yeah, and I think you make a good point with that. And I myself questioned this a little bit because, I think that the article wanted to say, the article actually says that some of the stuff in it may or may not be real in the sense of the idea of Skeletor telling Evelyn, which is the scenario in the comic book. He's speaking to her or explaining to her his origin. And the fact that they are implying that he just may be telling her that for sympathy. And that, in order to convince Evelyn or anyone else, I guess, any of his minions to follow him and to try to understand him, but just to gain favor with them. But I think it could be very interesting in the notion because Hordak promised Skeletor that he would help Skeletor get revenge towards these slavers for what they did to him. And I think
that makes sense. That clicks, yes.
It does. And, eventually what we find out is that Skeletor never got what he was promised, so to speak, from Hordak. And I don't even think Hordak could even deliver what he promised. This was maybe just something he told Skeletor to pacify him at a moment when Skeletor was very weak. But, I think it's very interesting in the sense of seeing that this might have been the reason why Skeletor is the way that he is. Skeletor is so fascinating because he's so strong, and he's, he has powers, he can fight, and if it wasn't for, his plans getting messed up, his plans would work. But unfortunately, no one is behind him to execute this stuff because they don't believe in what he's doing, maybe. But Skeletor is fascinating to me. Like, he's a great character. And, I think they have to be very careful about when they start to talk about what his past was like.
They're getting they're wading into waters that they might not really want to get into. Let's focus on some other stuff.
Mm-hmm. And do you think maybe because this particular comic issue was co-written by Kevin Smith, do you think it is going to coincide with the Masters of the Universe Revelations series?
Well, it seems like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's how you, you cushion yourself from all angles. So we've got the comic books. I mean, this is the same with the superhero movies and everything. You take whatever you've got and you fortify the overall marketing brand and everything via a little bit here, a little bit there. Sometimes something will pick up really big, and people are like, oh, well, did you know that? And that adds value to the other element of the same property. So yeah, I think this is going to be... I don't know if it's going to be like legit canon, or like you said, if it's kind of a misleading him talking to Evelyn or vice versa, that kind of thing, because we know she'll trick anybody,
yeah.
Boy and girl, or all the known entities, whatever.
And she doesn't hesitate, and she can go on with her day, she can go on with her life, and just I gotta go out today. Sorry, guys, kind of like.
I'm sorry, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hordak, that Mondo figure of Hordak is the best one yet.
Which one?
The Mondo 1/6 scale.
Yes.
The 12-inch one. It looks amazing. It's the only one so far.
Or by Sideshow.
It's a Mondo.
Mondo, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
thank you, Tony.
Mondo.
Okay.
Yeah, but it looks amazing. It really does. And it's the only one of that line so far that I'm kind of tempted.
That is along the lines of when I start doing because I'm going to be doing the Evil Horde, various different characters. I want kind of that version of him. From what I understand, that's the version that I want to portray on paper. Intense.
Yes.
Not taking crap and tough. That's
No, it sounds fantastic. Can either of you tell me more about what they were talking about when they were referring to this interdimensional Orlax?
Go ahead, Tony.
Hang on. So I'm all over the place at the moment. Yeah. Well, it's a term for. Here it is. Yeah. So it was. The power of the interdimensional Orlax. It's one of those. Usual terms. It comes because because depending on which continuity you're going with, generally the Trollans are the ones that created all the magic in the universe,
right? And
Orko is kind of. If you will, the AMBAC, because Eternia is the center of the universe. They don't need a particularly powerful emissary there, perhaps, or perhaps he's more powerful than any of them suspect. But I from what I remember, it's like the Orlax. The Orlax was because I think all Trollans, their names all begin with OR. Is that right, Rich?
Yeah, they're and you're correct. Generally, they're some of the most powerful magic users, though. So they sent Orko to Eternia for protection, or to protect them if if that's where we're going with this, and his abilities are reversed, so he comes off as a goober, as a not so powerful, hey, my magic fizzled out. Though in fact he's there to protect the universe from all the negativity. Yeah. I'm still looking for Orlax. I'm not finding it.
Well, so it was basically the Orlax was a huge an entity. It was like an interdimensional entity, which I think it created because Eternia doesn't spin on its axis like a normal planet does, and that's why there's a dark side and a light side. And from what I think it was the Orlax that messed with it, and it was but the Orlax was like an interdimensional entity of some kind, like but it's
How are they referring to it in the article? Because I just read it real quick.
They're referring to it in the article as a creature that Skeletor tells Evelyn he needs to find out everything that the interdimensional Orlax knows, so that he can get the power to finally do what he's been trying to do all along.
Yes, from other things, it's a venomous interdimensional entity, the Orlax.
Right.
And going back to, I'm trying to think, it was so there's a follow-up comic which goes into it, but this is something that was really it's been added to the canon by the writers of Revelation.
Right.
But it's a term that's been, I think it's a term that's been bandied around before. It's like this weird thing where they came up with all this stuff in the past, but a lot of it they didn't really use.
They also mentioned that this is the one weapon that Skeletor may possess that might give him power to finally, defeat He-Man and everybody in He-Man's side. So for the first time, he will have this special power from the interdimensional Orlax. They describe it as an interdimensional Cthulhu-like being that can traverse time and space to literally be in two places at the same time. And we've actually seen a lot of that, maybe not from the interdimensional Orlax, but we've seen that in the series Revelations, where they're kind of traveling through time and space a lot in that particular series, aren't we?
In a way. And I wish so much that we had the She-Ra franchise attached to this Revelations. We can complain about this all day long. In She-Ra, there was Madam Raz, who is Orko's equivalent.
Yes, I remember what the Orlax was now. It was basically a Cthulhu. It was based on Shuggoth. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God, what was? But that was that goes way. But that. Oh God, what was I think that might have been in an episode of the film, because I was never a huge Filmation guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, there is two. I forget, and I can figure it out. The one with the Cthulhu monster, the Shuggoth, and Quest for He-Man is one episode where they're doing the interdimensional travel. Into the dark dimension. Orko has to go. He has to go to the dark side for a little bit. So at least two times that I can think of, they're dealing with major consequences of interdimensional creatures, transportation, travel consequences. though we've seen a lot, of creatures from other dimensions. I think it's a great idea. The Orlax, I still can't find the actual anything exactly about it. I could show you some weirdo pictures of Orko, though. Orko and his family. This is all around the interdimensional travel episode.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see a lot of people from.
I remember the bearded ones.
So if we're going to go into interdimensional stuff, interdimensional travel, which I guess everything is. I mean, What If and Marvel and all of those franchises are. So He-Man absolutely should as well.
Mm-hmm. Initially, I thought that the interdimensional Orlax might have been what brought Skeletor from his dimension into Eternia, because I wasn't even quite sure in that origin story whether or not he came willingly or whether it was something he was sort of like forced into Eternia.
Oh no.
This sounds sucky. I want it to be forced. I want him to be under a lot of pressure, stress. If he's got a family and everything, all right, we can find out about that. That'll give us a little bit of sympathy. I want him to be pissed for a reason, and I want him to act upon his vengeance. I want him to strike down all of the heroes in his way because he's trying to conquer the universe.
Well, and this idea that Orko's name is Oracle again comes from the Mike Young series, because there are only two Trollans. There are only two Trollans in the Mike Young series. There was Orko and there was the Oracle. And they oh god, were they? Yeah, they were the only two. I think so. I think they were the only two Trollans in the Mike Young series, right? Or at least the only ones you see.
I'm not
sure.
Is the female not in the Mike Young in the 2YK?
Dryel. Hang on.
I don't know if she's in the 2YK.
Here we go. So, the Oracle, the all-knowing Oracle from the episode of the 2002 series entitled "The Power of Grayskull," who resided in ancient Eternia in a flashback sequence, the only other Trollan besides Orko to appear in the modern series. So, yeah.
Now, I'm guessing that if Skeletor in the second comic is trying to convince Evelyn why he needs her help and why she should be on his side, and is explained to her why he needs the interdimensional Orlax, that he needs her help in order to get the interdimensional Orlax because it is so powerful. So, what are your thoughts on that?
It's funny the way that you word it, the way that I'm listening to it coming out of your mouth. He's trying to convince her because in everything that we know, he forces himself, or he tries to anyway. So the way that the article's saying it, the way that you're reading it, it makes me think that behind the scenes he's like, come on baby, come on.
Well, I guess the reason why I'm putting it that way is because in the series, the new He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelation series, it's clear that while she is on Skeletor's side, I think she might be holding some sort of resentment, towards him, and it's out in the open now.
I agree.
And then while she was obviously, to me, the most likable character in that 5 episodes that we got, I don't know whether or not she's going to sabotage Skeletor too. So I'm kind of hoping that she'll kind of have one little trick up her sleeve, especially when it comes to this interdimensional thing, because there has to be some benefit for her. And, Evelyn is also powerful, and she seemed to be able to keep things going on looking from the outside in, with all of whatever tricks she had to do and whatever magic that she had to produce. She seemed to be able to, get a home run as far as I'm concerned.
Everything has to do with her. Sorry.
Talking about the different toy lines. So the Masterverse series, which is the tie-in toy line for Revelation, right. Only four figures have been no, 5 figures have been released so far. 2 Skeletors, the normal Skeletor and Skelegod, Mossman, He-Man, and Evelyn. Now, of those characters, all but one of them have died at least once in the series so far. So we all of the other. It's weird because obviously we didn't see Teela because that would have been a spoiler. Although they did show Skelegod, which made no sense. So if it was okay to show Skelegod, which is the very last shot of the first half of the series, why not show Teela? Why not show Triclops or those guys? It makes no sense.
My logic is that Skelegod is not that big of a deal. Why would they have show? I mean, I don't think that their marketing is going to be that foolish. I think that it was a really good idea, and this ties into all of the drama and everything like that, like how it was presented. Though, if you literally watch the first trailer in slow motion or whatever, everything is exactly explained. It is perfectly explained and outlined. So that just reinforces what we were saying in the last several episodes of how positive the show is. Regarding Evelyn, though, I found out something last night. I was watching a video, and Tony in the Mike Young in the scene where I can't remember if it was Skeletor or Keldor. I guess it was Skeletor with Beastman. Everybody's attacking. All you see is the smoky outline of Evelyn standing there as all the chaos is happening. All the people are fighting, and she's just there, just her outline,
just like she planned.
Just like she planned. And that's why she's the coolest. She really is. She knows what's up. She's running the show, I think.
Yeah, she is a mastermind, and she certainly is someone to contend with, as we've seen in the first 5 episodes. Another thing that I was kind of curious about is the article says that they truly don't believe that anything of what Skeletor is saying is true. Now, does Skeletor overall have a history of telling fibs in the series?
Of course he does. He can't keep he can't keep a face. He can't keep a straight face. Everything. Yeah. Dude lies.
Again, I think it's an unreliable narrator thing. Although how many in real terms, how many people are even going to see this comic? Seeing this online, more people are going to see this online than will actually read it. Let's face it. And so, I mean, again, it goes back to the whole Darth Maul thing, right? It goes back to Darth Maul. If you've only seen the movies and you go into Solo and you get to the end of Solo and you go, what? He's still alive? If you didn't watch, if you didn't read the comics, if you didn't see the Clone Wars, if you didn't see Rebels, you have as far as you're concerned, this guy's dead. So putting him into a film made no sense. Mm-hmm. It should have been Shizor. I think anyone with half a brain would go, yeah, it should have been Shizor. But, whatever.
No,
Emperor
right.
Palpatine is keeping Skeletor alive.
I mean, I agree with you. I have friends who were huge fans of Maul, and when the prequels came out, they were very disappointed in his appearance there. It didn't do him justice, and later on we got some sort of story about him and a lot in the Clone Wars, and that was very satisfying to see.
Yeah, definitely.
But even his death on Tatooine, I guess it's Tatooine with Obi-Wan, felt very defeated. Even though
it was over. We were expecting. Well, let's face it. It was right near the end of the episode, so it wasn't. Was it near the end? It was, right. So it's like, this fight is not gonna last the whole episode.
Well, think of a lot of the big climactic battles or the one-on-one, the duels. They kind of end fairly quickly without like well, Qui-Gon. We didn't really see a lot of him, and he's one of my favorite characters. We didn't really see a lot of Darth Maul. We saw even less of Darth Maul, and his character ended. So, Star Wars or He-Man absolutely was inspired. It was a cross between Star Wars and Conan, essentially, and then anything else that they could find and stuff. The little ray guns and stuff.
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I agree 100% with you in regards to that. So then, do you believe that going forward, the next comic might deal with Skeletor? Actually, we actually see a comic version of, rather than something that was we're still unsure about. Actually, see it.
I love the idea. I love the idea that what if this is actually, say, a six issue miniseries, and each issue has a different origin for Skeletor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would love that.
Oh my God, that sounds so great.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that sounds too intelligent, though, dude. I don't. If that sounds too,
But if Skeletor is dealing with interdimensional beings, then a lot of these timelines, multiple timelines, could be true. We have to look at it from the point of view if he has the ability to go to different places, like what we've seen even in Revelations, that we may see even more like this.
Can we avoid the multi-dimensional thing, even though it's in the room and we know it exists? Let's not allow them to make it a priority. If possible, not give it the power that they want. It's such an easy device. I love. Look at the Joker's scenario with Tony's 6th episode from a different perspective each time. It could be a part of psychosis, because I'd rather see Skeletor going insane and reliving out his memories from a different perspective rather than actually traveling to multi-dimensionals. It's being overdone.
I saw I think I posted it a couple of days ago. I saw someone had a concept pitch for Hordak, and he was almost like it's almost like he was kind of fused to his throne, and it was really sort of weird, and it still had his face and stuff, but he was kind of, and it was almost like he was a prisoner almost in his own body. And
did you send that to me? Is that the one that had the things that were like coming into, not into his head, but coming out?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was really sort of, it was almost like a sort of body horror type thing, almost like The Thing. And the idea that he lives in the fright zone, but he's also kind of, it's almost like his prison.
He's a prisoner. Yeah.
So he's a prisoner in the fright zone, but he still has power over the Horde. So he can't leave Etheria. So he basically, what he's doing is that because he can't leave Etheria, he's decided to make it his domain, and he wants to have complete control over it. So this might be where, if they do introduce She-Ra, this could be what happens. But again, this is the problem. We know that this is not going to last that long.
Yeah, see, that's a sucky thing, the fact that we do know that, because I want to see 6 years, and you're telling me we got 18 months. Yeah,
I mean, the problem is, these things take 2 years to make, right?
Yeah.
So it's, and this is why they've done the CGI show as well, because these things can be done much quicker. I think someone said they've got like 72 CGI episodes ready to go.
72?
I think it was 72. I think it was 72.
Wow.
So that's 3 seasons, right?
Right.
You know, that's Netflix's thing. 3 seasons, three 24 episode seasons, I think. That's what I heard. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I think maybe I've got that wrong.
If we've only got, say, 18 months, how do you expect the what would be the best scenario for Skeletor's arc now that we're getting this dramatic love story backstory for
does Skeletor even need the Orlax anymore since he has the sword?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need.
Yeah. So then, you know, I have to, maybe this particular situation is another event that happens to Skeletor, and maybe the series is inevitably just going to be more about Skeletor. I know initially there was a lot of focus on the series perhaps being more focused on Teela than He-Man, but perhaps Skeletor is going to be the one who you know, comes out and is more of a focus. I mean, I'm speculating. But.
Why do we have to have like one focus? Because literally, people have kind of laser tuned into the Teela thing, and that's ridiculous because you could look at Man at Arms' arc. I know that we did see more FaceTime with Teela. Okay, I acknowledge that. Though it could have been anybody. It could have been Mechanic. It could have been Mossman, or well. Yeah, he got fried, but it could have been somebody else, anybody else. It didn't necessarily have to be Teela, though she was the personal confidant, the pseudo lover or whatever of He-Man and big sister to Adam. So it made sense that her character was the one that we followed. It could have been Man at Arms, so it could have been anybody else. Now we're transitioning because we've got Skeletor, Skelegod, the image of it. That's all it is. See, it was a flash. You know what just happened might have even been a freaking premonition. The next episode, I mean, I don't want to jinx it or anything. It could have totally been in Adam's head before he fell to the ground, and he called to the sorceress or something and got the sword out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. We can't know, and that isn't really a possibility because the series is not over. And it was at such a traumatic point of the series that they ended, you know, sort of like an abrupt ending. We certainly know that there's a lot more to that scene.
First and only time we've ever seen blood, I believe, in the entire franchise. I think, right, Tony? Have we ever seen blood like in the Y2K?
But yes, you did see. I think. Well, Hordak had black blood. I think.
No. I mean red blood. Yeah, we saw human blood coming out of, Adam's lip, and that was the most profound out of everything. I know he's going to survive because it's not a lethal spot to be stabbed and all that and everything. But seeing the blood. That was a shocker. Not the fact that he got stabbed. I'm glad he got stabbed. It should have happened years ago. But the blood is what shocked me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's good that you see something where you're like, whoa, you know, that is kind of a good feeling when you watch a series like this. Well, thanks for joining us again on PGS ALL-STARS and our special series for what we love about Masters of the Universe. Hope to see you again soon. Until then, take care.